Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Short-Term Rentals with the one and only Tijani. And today we're going to talk about the top 5 amenities that you have seen guests requesting constantly on short-term rentals.
That's a good question. I would look at amenities that Airbnb specifically highlight, right?
Cool.
Like having a pool. That's an entire whole section. Like people can filter out and say that, hey, if it doesn't have a pool, I don't want to look at it.
Oh, wow.
So a pool is definitely good. Even if you arbitrage, maybe you're in an apartment community, it'd be great to target one with a pool and make sure that the guests will be able to have access there. I would just caution though, we've had issues. Well, I personally haven't had the issue, but one of my students had this issue. And what happened was, they had let the guests use the community pool. Guest ends up inviting a whole bunch of people. They turn the pool to a party.
Oh no.
So, and now that particular, they were threatening to tell them that they had to move out because of that, because it caused such an inconvenience for the other tenants in the apartment. So you got to be careful with that as well. So I would say pool. If you have like an opportunity for people to, if you have space in the backyard, backyard space alone could be its own amenity because people just love that. Especially if you include something like a barbecue pit. Have a system to where you can keep that clean as well, because that's one of the harder things to maintain, right? But it's a great thing to have. You can do something like that. I'll throw that in there as well. This one is kind of mundane, but it's, I would say coffee. A lot of people, for one, cheapen the coffee maker. They just get something cheap from Walmart. One of the ones where you got to brew it and, pour the greens out, pour it out, like all that, which is okay. I mean, that's okay. At least you have something, but don't cheapen the coffee as well, because you would probably have to replace that coffee maker more. Right, yeah. We have coffee makers, like when we first started our journey, we haven't even had to replace them yet. Right? It's still working really good to this day. So that's since 2017. That's through multiple uses. So have quality coffee maker, because a lot of people that you serve love coffee. Offer tea. We offer green tea. We offer honey. We offer, of course, the creamers and the sweeteners and all that. We offer 2 different kinds of sweeteners. You don't have to do that, but we do that.
You guys go above and beyond. That's fine.
Yeah. I would say, depending on who you're serving, put a TV in your unit and mount it. Because it's going to photograph a whole lot better. If you mount it, flush mount it, because if you're not going to flush mount, you got the wires showing. If you're not going to hide the wires, they just looks ugly. I'd rather you just sit it on the stand at that point. That's my opinion though. But mount your TV. It photographs a whole lot better, and it's much likely less chance that it's going to walk one day, right? Because that can happen. So I would throw that in there as well. And for us, we put a TV in every single room. In living room, bedrooms, they all get TVs. And one thing that we offer Netflix for all of our accounts as well. For all of our properties, we offer Netflix. We offer cable as well. We offer cable as well through YouTube TV. We offer Netflix. And if you, like I said, if you're able to put a TV in every room, do that. Depending on who you're serving. Do you need a TV in every room to be profitable? No. But we serve medical people, right? And we serve nurses that are going to come home from work tired. They just want to relax, probably in that comfortable bed, and just watch some TV, right? And some of our units that we may have 2 nurses in each room. Maybe they don't want to just be out in the living room. They just want to be in their room. They just want to be secluded in their room, chilling. So keep them entertained. So because of who we serve, we put a TV in every room. So things like that, you want to make sure that you keep in mind. Again, I would say go in Airbnb, because Airbnb recently updated their amenity section.
Oh,
go
wow.
in and check off every amenity that you have that you probably don't even realize that you have. And so it's always things on there that you're like, oh yeah, I do have that. Let me go ahead and check that off. Yeah, so it's always something that you're gonna forget. So update all your listings amenities right now for sure.
That's right, because it's incredible how you can literally filter out all of these many listings just by pushing a couple of buttons and saying like, I want a TV in my room. Boom.
Boom.
Then your listing that didn't have a TV, or maybe it did, but you didn't update it.
Yeah.
It's out. So you don't want to do that.
I'll throw this in there too, even before that next question. Wi-Fi, I mean, that's standard. You'll think that like everybody, no. Not everybody does it right with Wi-Fi, and people cheapen their Wi-Fi. They get the cheapest one that they can. That's the worst idea you can have. Because understand that people, especially if you're serving families, they're going to come with a bunch of devices, right? And your Wi-Fi is going to speak a lot, somehow, some way. Your Wi-Fi speaks to the quality of your listing. It really does. Like if you have a dope listing, they expect good Wi-Fi. you have trash Wi-Fi, it just messes up the experience. You have a dope listing with trash Wi-Fi, it just messes up the experience. So you're gonna get calls. That's not a call that you want. You know what I'm saying? So my recommendation, get the fastest Wi-Fi possible. It's a few more dollars a month, maybe $30 more a month. I don't know, 20, 50 more dollars a month. That pales in comparison to the reviews, to the additional income that you can make, to the experience that you provide your guests. Don't cheapen your Wi-Fi either.
Especially because, like, given all the income that you're going to be getting from that short-term rental unit,
doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter.
It pales. It doesn't even compare.
That tiny little $30, you can easily make it in what, an hour of someone staying in your short-term rental.
Absolutely.
Now, speaking about money though, so what are some ways that you finance for all of these expenses? Let's say that somebody has a brand new home that they just bought, but it doesn't have a pool, and they're like, you know what, a pool sounds great because TJ mentioned that I should be having a pool. How do I buy it? How do I like build it?
Yeah. You know, the good thing about just entrepreneurship period is that one of my good friends, Chris Senegal, he has this he has a success triangle that he preaches about all the time, and it's so prevalent, and it's important that people understand it, because to make anything happen, any deal, anything that you want to make happen, you don't need everything. You need three things. You need time, you need the money, and you need the knowledge and experience. Well, the good thing is that you don't have to bring all three to the table, just bring one, right? So say you have a property that you can put a pool in, you have the space to put a pool, but you don't have the $60,000, $75,000 to put a pool in there. Then go raise the capital, right? And then cut them in on it. You're gonna make so much more money from that pool. So, okay, you put a pool in there, and I'm gonna give you this much return on your investment until you're paid back, right? And bring them in. Maybe you do a rev share. Say, okay, I'll cut you in the revenue of this unit, up until, maybe I cut you in on half the revenue up until you pay back. They may take a year and a half. They may take a year or whatever, but you own the property. That's your property. As soon as they pay back, they're out of it. Now that's all your property, whatever, right? So there's multiple ways that you can get it financed. You can take out a line of credit. You can go get business funding to get it financed and pay it back with zero interest. Like, there's a bunch of ways that you can make it happen. Looking into, if you have a property, you can put a pool in, or maybe a big amenity, do it. Look at it like, say you want to build an extra unit in the back. How would you finance that? You go hit up a bank, you say, hey, this is a property, it's going to increase in value, you're going to build this much more equity, and they're going to give you the funding to do it. Same concept.
That's right. And you also mentioned that you can get like a business loan. Would it be kind of like an SBA at that point? You
can. I mean, there are all kinds. You can get an SBA. You can get, business lines. I think business lines of credit is one of the best things that you can do to help, to help, fund things that in your business. So yeah, I mean, there are multiple ways you can get that done.
And that's one of the cool things about short-term rentals, because you're not coming to a bank or a lender or a partner for this money saying like, I have this house. No. You're coming as, I have this business. What are my options? And that opens way more options of financing.
I'll give an option as to what I knew somebody did. They weren't my student, but they put a pool in the back. They leveraged private capital. They put a pool there, and then the pool, they already had equity in their home. They had equity, and then the pool increased the equity even more. And so what they did was they did a cash out refinance, and then refied the money that he spent on the pool. It was like 50 grand, refied it, and then paid the guy back. And now that's it. So you can be creative with getting it done, for sure.
And there's always ways to finance all of these amenities, because in the end, in the long run, these ones are actually going to provide so much more income to pay them back way faster than you thought. And now, when it comes to all of these amenities, do you really need to have these amenities to succeed? Because let's say that we have someone that is a super beginner on the game, and they're just renting, I don't know, maybe a room instead of a whole house. Do you really need these amenities to succeed?
Well, everything's going to be contingent, right? My recommendation is to have as many amenities as you can. Now, a lot of times you have certain amenities you just don't know that you have, right? You could just go in there, and that's why I kind of like the way Airbnb kind of structures it now, because it gets you thinking like, oh, dang, I do have that. Or oh man, I don't offer that, but I can. So they have like this big list, and it's like, oh, do you have this? Do you have this? Washer and dryer. Do you have this? Do you have these amenities? And you could be like, oh, I don't have that, or I do have that. And there's certain things you'll see, you'll be like, no, I don't have that, but I can do that. Why not? And so go ahead. That's why I kind of like the way Airbnb breaks it down now. So, and if you have like a single room, It's not expected for you to have all those amenities. Like it's not going to be expected if you have like a single room. But if you have single rooms and there's another single room that's a competitor of yours and they have a refrigerator in their room and you don't, yeah, they're gonna eat your lunch. Like so, you wanna run some comparables, look at what other ones are doing, see, and that's one of the things that people should do. Look at other listings and see what they offer, and see like, man, this listing is making money, like they're booked. Okay, what is the difference? What am I missing? Like, look at what they offer and say, okay, they offer that amenity, this amenity, dang, okay, look at the reviews, see what the reviews are saying. Oh, people really love that. I need to include that in my listing, right? So when it comes to amenities, for one, you have more than you think. I can pretty much guarantee that. So number two, add as many as you can. And number three, look at others and see what they're doing and implement that, because a lot of times we don't need to recreate the wheel, just copy the right cat.
That's right. And that's a really good way to stay competitive. What are some other ways you would say that we can do to stay competitive within the market?
I would say outside of amenities, in order for you to stay competitive, we talk a lot about themes, right? We talk a lot about theming your units. That's one way to stay competitive, because it's going to allow you to stand out. One of the best ways to stay competitive is your pricing strategy, right? If you're able to price it to where you're providing incentives, maybe you have weekly discounts, monthly discounts, things like that, that's going to also allow you to stay competitive as well. Your photos, I have no clue till this day why hosts still miss on this. They don't want to spend an extra couple $100s to take professional photography because they just feel like it's just an expense. A lot of time hosts will be like, man, I just spent all this money already. I'll be good. I don't need to spend the extra $200. Like, I already spent all this money. The way I see this, like, you already spent all this money. What is an extra $200? What is the extra $200 to really see it through? Really bring it home. You know what I mean? So a lot of folks miss on professional photography. And that's one way that you can stand out. And when I talk about professional photography, I'm not talking about a club promoter photographer or a wedding photographer. I'm talking about legitimate real estate photographers to photograph your units.
That's interesting because, like, then again, you could have all of these amazing amenities, but if you're like grabbing your phone and being like, little picture, and with your super shaky hand, oh my goodness, nobody's gonna see it. So.
Oh my goodness, I don't know why people do that. It's okay.
So most people, it's important to mention this though. You said not a wedding photographer, not any other type of photographer, a real estate photographer. So how do you find them? Because I feel like most of us, we know our typical friend who does photography, but it's not the type of real estate photography they're referring to. So how do you go about finding
Best
them?
way is to reach out to an agent. And everybody knows an agent. Ask them, who do y'all use for your photography and your brokerage? Who do y'all use? Or you go to an agency, or maybe you look at some listings online, like, man, I love that real estate photography. You look at some properties that are for rent just on the MLS. Say, man, I love that. Call the agent up. Hey, who is y'all's photographer? Can y'all refer me to y'all's photographers? Are they in-house or are they third party? Like, so 100% agents, because they all take photos for real estate. And who's selling real estate? Agents. Just go to the source.
And it's always cool how you can network with other people within the real estate realm to get more connections to the people that you
I tell people all the time, in real estate, the value isn't even really an asset. The value is not an asset. The value is in the people that you build with on the way there. The value is the network that you create in your journey. That's where the value is, because it's your network that's going to take you far.
That's right. And any last tips that you could give us to stay super competitive with the best amenities in these years?
Man, I would say, a lot of stuff that we talked about in this episode, right? Go in, put in the work. You have to be able to keep a pulse on your business. Don't be a host that just sets it and forget it, right? Be very attentive. Check all your amenities. I'm gonna keep reiterating this. Go on your listings, check all of them, make sure that you have all of them checked out. And also make sure you have professional photography, And another thing I would say too, along with that, make sure that your listing is concise with the way you break it down. Like, if you're way too wordy in your listing description, people are turned off by that. So be very short, be very concise, and use bullet points. Like, we love using bullet points because we like to call them haymakers. They get straight to all the dope things about your listing. You can listen to some of those amenities we're talking about. Boom, bullet point, 4K TV. Boom, super fast Wi-Fi, 500 megabits per second. Boom, flat screen TV in every single room. boom, luxury style pool, whatever the case. Like you want to hit them with the bullet points because it's a lot easier to read. It could be it's a lot more concise, and you're not being way too worried, and people will be able to be more intrigued with your listing for sure.
That's right. And it definitely tailors that to your guests, because as soon as they see all of those bullet points, they're like, man, this is exactly what I needed. Yep. Exactly. Thank you so much again, TJ. And thank you to our audience for staying tuned to this episode. So now you have it, the best tips so you can stay competitive in the market of short-term rentals. See you on the next episode.